The 4-Hour Workweek by Timothy Ferriss. What if you could escape the traditional 9-to-5 job, work only a few hours per week, and still earn enough money to live the life you want? This is the bold promise explored in the 4-Hour Workweek. Instead of accepting the traditional path of working for decades and delaying happiness until retirement, the book proposes a completely different way of thinking about work, money, and freedom. The central idea is that most people are following a broken system called the deferred life plan. In this model, people work tirelessly for most of their lives with the hope that someday, usually after retirement, they will finally have enough time and money to enjoy life. But according to the book, there is a better way. By redesigning how we work, how we earn money, and how we manage our time, it is possible to create a lifestyle where work supports freedom instead of limiting it. He organizes this transformation using a simple framework called D.E.A.L. Definition, Elimination, Automation, Liberation. Each step represents a stage in moving away from the traditional work model and toward a life centered on freedom, flexibility, and meaningful experiences. Let's explore each stage in depth. 1. Definition, redefining success and the meaning of wealth. The first step in the process is redefining what success actually means. Most people assume that success equals making a lot of money. But the book argues that money alone does not create happiness or freedom. Someone might earn a high salary but work 80 hours a week, constantly stressed and with no time for family, hobbies, or travel. In reality, that person may be financially successful but lifestyle poor. Instead, the book proposes a new definition of wealth. True wealth is the combination of time and mobility. In other words, the ability to decide what you do, when you do it, where you do it, and with whom you do it. This is where the concept of the new rich comes in. The concept of the new rich. Unlike traditional millionaires who spend decades building wealth before enjoying it, the new rich focus on creating systems that allow them to enjoy life throughout their entire journey. They seek time freedom, location independence, meaningful experiences, flexibility in work. The idea is not necessarily to become extremely wealthy, but rather to build a life where work supports living instead of dominating it. This shift in thinking is the foundation of everything else in the book. Mini retirements instead of waiting until old age. Another major idea introduced in this section is mini retirements. Traditionally, people work continuously for 40 or more years before retiring. But by the time retirement arrives, many people are too tired, unhealthy, or financially constrained to fully enjoy life. Mini retirements flip this idea upside down. Instead of waiting until the end of life to travel or pursue personal dreams, people take extended breaks throughout their lives. For example, someone might work intensely for several months, automate their income stream, then spend 3 months traveling or learning a new skill. Afterward, they return to work refreshed and inspired. These cycles allow people to experience adventure and growth while they are still young and energetic. The power of fear setting. Many people avoid pursuing their dream lifestyle because of fear. They fear losing their job, failing financially, disappointing family members, making the wrong decision. To overcome this, the book introduces a powerful exercise called fear setting. Instead of simply setting goals, you analyze your fears in detail. You ask yourself 3 questions. 1. What is the worst thing that could realistically happen? 2. How could I repair the damage if it happened? 3. What is the cost of not taking action? Often, people discover that the worst-case scenario is not nearly as bad as they imagined. Meanwhile, the cost of staying stuck in an unfulfilling life may be much greater. This mindset shift helps people take calculated risks instead of avoiding opportunities out of fear. 2. Elimination, focusing on what truly matters. After redefining success, the next step is eliminating unnecessary work. One of the biggest myths about productivity is that working more hours leads to better results. In reality, much of the work people do every day is not important. It is simply busy work. The goal of elimination is to identify the small number of activities that create the greatest results and remove everything else. Two important principles guide this process. The 80-20th rule, Pareto principle. The Pareto principle states that 80% of results often come from 20% of efforts. This pattern appears everywhere in life. For example, 20% of customers generate 80% of revenue. 20% of problems cause 80% of frustration. 20% of tasks produce 80% of productivity. The key is identifying which activities fall into that powerful 20%. Once identified, those tasks should receive most of your attention. Everything else should be reduced, delegated, or eliminated entirely. This dramatically increases efficiency while reducing workload. Parkinson's law. Another concept discussed is Parkinson's law, which states, work expands to fill the time available for its completion. If someone gives themselves 8 hours to complete a task, it will likely take 8 hours. But if they limit themselves to 2 hours, they will often finish in 2 hours. By shortening deadlines and creating time constraints, people are forced to focus on the most essential aspects of a task. This increases speed and efficiency. The low information diet. Another major productivity problem in modern life is information overload. People are constantly bombarded with information from email notifications, news websites, social media, text messages, meetings and calls. This constant flow of information fragments attention and makes deep focus almost impossible. The book suggests adopting a low information diet. This means intentionally reducing the amount of unnecessary information you consume. For example, checking email only once or twice per day. Avoiding endless scrolling through news feeds. Turning off non-essential notifications. By doing this, you protect your attention and free up mental energy for meaningful work. 3. Automation, building passive income systems. Once unnecessary work is eliminated, the next step is automation. Automation focuses on creating systems that generate income with minimal ongoing effort. The book introduces the concept of building a muse. What is a muse? A muse is a small business designed specifically to produce passive income. Unlike traditional businesses that require constant management, a muse is structured so that most processes run automatically. The goal is not to create a massive company but to develop a simple income stream that supports your desired lifestyle. This income allows you to spend more time traveling, learning, or pursuing personal interests. Finding a profitable idea. The book suggests focusing on niche markets rather than large, competitive industries. A niche market is a small group of people with a specific problem or interest. Examples might include specialized fitness programs, hobby-related equipment, productivity tools, educational courses. By targeting a niche audience, it becomes easier to stand out and provide unique value. Testing before building. One of the most practical ideas in the book is testing demand before creating a product. Many entrepreneurs spend months developing a product without knowing whether anyone wants it. Instead, the book recommends conducting small experiments. For example, create a simple website describing the product. Run online advertisements. Measure how many people click or attempt to purchase. If strong interest exists, the product can then be developed. If not, the idea can be adjusted or abandoned without wasting months of work. Outsourcing and delegation. Automation also involves outsourcing tasks that do not require your personal involvement. Virtual assistants or freelancers can handle many activities, such as answering emails, processing orders, scheduling appointments, conducting research. This frees up your time for higher value activities like strategy and creativity. With modern technology, outsourcing tasks globally is easier than ever. Creating systems. To achieve true automation, business processes must be turned into systems. Examples include automatic order processing, third-party product fulfillment, customer service scripts, subscription billing systems. Once these systems are in place, the business can continue operating even when you are not actively working. This is how passive income becomes possible. 4. Liberation, escaping the traditional workplace. The final stage of the process is liberation. This is where all the previous steps come together to create a life of freedom. Liberation means removing the final constraints that tie people to traditional work environments. Remote work and flexibility. One of the first steps toward liberation is negotiating remote work arrangements. Working remotely provides several benefits. Flexible scheduling, reduced commuting time, improved productivity, the ability to travel. Many jobs can be performed just as effectively from home or other locations. In many cases, remote work actually improves results because employees can focus without constant office interruptions. Becoming location independent. Once income is no longer tied to a specific location, the possibilities expand dramatically. People can choose to live in places that offer lower living costs, better quality of life, new cultural experiences. Some individuals spend months living in different countries while continuing to earn income online. This flexibility allows people to design lifestyles based on personal interests rather than workplace requirements. The importance of purpose. Interestingly, the book points out that too much free time can feel empty if it lacks purpose. Freedom alone does not guarantee happiness. To create a fulfilling life, people should actively pursue meaningful activities such as learning new skills, developing creative projects, building relationships, contributing to communities. True fulfillment comes not only from freedom but from using that freedom intentionally. Final lessons from the 4-hour workweek. The biggest message of the book is that life does not have to follow a traditional script. Instead of working endlessly and postponing happiness, people can redesign their lives around freedom, efficiency, and meaningful experiences. The book teaches several powerful lessons. Being busy does not mean being productive. Most work is unnecessary and can be eliminated. Income should support freedom, not replace it. Systems and automation can create passive income. Time is the most valuable resource we have. Even if someone never achieves a literal 4-hour workweek, applying these ideas can dramatically improve their quality of life. Ultimately, the book challenges readers to ask one important question. If you could design your life from scratch, what would it look like? Once that vision becomes clear, the strategies in the book provide a roadmap for turning that vision into reality.